Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from Jack the Rippler. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has confirmed that the Federal Reserve will not establish a CBDC during his leadership. Take a listen.
Something that concerns me a lot is the idea that we would even look like China in any way. So can I have your commitment that as long as you're the chairman of the Federal Reserve System, that we will never have a central bank digital currency?
Yes.
Thank you for that. I think that's extremely important. It makes me very happy to hear you say that.
So right away, the Bitcoin maxis think that it's over for XRP. But we're not going to have a central bank digital currency. Instead, the United States is going to use a private stablecoin like RLUSD. Yes, Ripple CBDC private ledger directly utilizes XRP, documented 3 times. Another myth debunked. And if you were to take out CBDC here and insert stablecoin, it would still utilize XRP because XRP is going to move RLUSD all around the world. But it also brought up this subject once again as well. Ripple setting you up for digital slavery and mark of the beast. No wonder it's better than Bitcoin. Ripple XRP, you will be forced to use it. Now, they use that post as a slam towards Ripple. But where did this narrative come from? It started here. XRP equals social credit score and implantable microchips. Appears to be looking more and more like the mark of the beast to me. It is reasonable for Christians to cling to something that Satan has orchestrated. Take a listen to what she says here.
Well, if you look at the planning and the design and the competition, it's fluid right now. You know, there's competition over what the design will be. It was very interesting. I won't bore you with all the details, but I had an incredible experience in Denmark a year ago, and I was trying to figure out what's going on in Denmark. They had one of the tech firms in Denmark was being paid by the U.S. Navy to come up with a chip that could be implanted in the human body that would integrate with Ripple. Yeah. So Ripple is a crypto, and it's one that's gotten a lot of promotion from the American establishment, in my experience, just my impression. So why is the U.S. Navy paying a Danish tech company to come up with an implantable chip that will integrate with Ripple?
And this is what it looks like right here. Now, here's my thoughts on this. I know a lot of people believe this narrative. I'm never getting a chip put in me, period. It's just not going to happen. But I don't think it's the mark of the beast system. Even though Chris Larson seems to be a globalist that's on board for a new world order, one world currency system. But I want to know what your thoughts are on this, because I get mixed narratives from people. Some people say, you're absolutely crazy. Look at all the good people that are holding XRP. They want to use their XRP money to help other people in the world. And I always thought that people were chosen to hold XRP for a reason, because it took a lot of vision to hold this cryptocurrency. But I definitely want to know what your thoughts are. And me personally, I'm never getting that chip. I just wanted to touch on this once again, because this is being talked about once again by the Bitcoin maxis. Opt out of the beast system and invest into the freedom coin, which is Bitcoin. Trump may have banned a retail CBDC, but a wholesale CBDC is still on the table. Take a listen to Maxine Waters.
Just quickly,
Upon taking office, President Trump signed an executive order banning the creation and issuance of a U.S. central bank digital currency, also known as CBDC. The U.S. is now the only country in the world to impose a presidential ban on CBDC, while China and Europe are free to lead the global competitive landscape. I just get that in there because our central bank, why don't they want our central bank involved?
Well, if I can just add a couple thoughts to that. I mean, look, I know there's a lot of pros and cons about a retail CBDC, but we need the Federal Reserve to continue doing research and development in the area of digital assets. If you want digital assets and tokenization to really grow as a sector, then the federal payments infrastructure must be geared to handle that. And so that's why we need the Federal Reserve to continue to do work in this area. Unfortunately, the executive order suggests it can't.
Gentlemen.
I say down with the Fed. And I think they should outsource it away from the Fed. Only because what good has the Fed done for any of us? They create inflation and then pretend to fight off inflation at the expense of the taxpayer and the American citizen. I think the reason that they're going in a private direction is because I think they already plan on ending the Fed at some point. A gold-backed currency will end the Fed. That's the way I look at it. And Ripple scored another big win here. Big win for fintechs in Europe. The ECB has published a decision that gives non-bank payment service providers, including payment institutions and e-money institutions like regulated stablecoin issuers, direct access to Eurosystem central bank payment systems like SEPA and TIPS. This decision, rooted in the instant payments regulation that came into force earlier this year, can reduce reliance on traditional banks for fiat settlements, creating a more level playing field and boosting competition and innovation in EU payments. I like the way they put MiCA in place first ahead of this. And I think the United States will most likely go in the same direction with stablecoin regulations and Fed now. But this shows you that RLUSD can be utilized in Europe. I even expect Ripple to announce RLEUR. I'm sure that'll be coming at some point this year. This comes from Eleanor Tourette. As per this very helpful table, we could see the SEC Gov acknowledge Grayscale's XRP spot ETF filing as early as Thursday, February 13th, tomorrow. If indeed it chooses to acknowledge it, the SEC usually has around 15 days to acknowledge a 19B-4 filing, and Grayscale filed their conversion application on January 30th. Either way, it should give us a good idea of how the current SEC Gov Commission is thinking about XRP. We could see an ETF very soon. And the fact that this ETF is now on the table, maybe they will rush to end the Rippleverse SEC case as well. Let's hope this all plays out very good for Ripple. This would get XRP price movement moving once again. Ripple XRP fam, the golden age of digital assets hearing. Corey Garrison, partner, Steptoe LLP. The SEC should first interpret that digital assets are not securities. Second, the SEC should consider withdrawing the Gensler era litigation. Take a listen.
So what can the SEC actually accomplish? I offer the following suggestions, which I believe are consistent with Commissioner Peirce's 10 priorities. First, the SEC should articulate a sound legal interpretation for when digital asset transactions are subject to the securities laws. A clean break is needed from the Gensler era's legal imprecision and sweeping assertion that nearly all digital assets are securities. The interpretation should begin with an acknowledgement that the digital asset itself is not a security. A disciplined transaction-by-transaction analysis must be used to determine whether an investment contract is present because it is required by the case law and should be adhered to by the Commission. Second, The SEC should consider withdrawing Gensler-era litigation alleging unregistered exchange, broker-dealer, and clearing agency activity.
You know, when Gensler was at the SEC, only two cryptocurrencies seemed to get a free pass, and it came from Jay Clayton, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Even after a judge said XRP is not a security, they still tried to deem it as security still, behind closed doors. Now, finally, we have a path forward at the SEC. I expect a lot of things to get done in 2025. Fed Chair Powell admits there's a problem with crypto debunking and is determined to take a fresh look at the issue. Take a listen.
I can't make an open-ended commitment to remove anybody, but I will tell you that I am struck, and my colleagues and I are struck by the growing number of cases of what appears to be debanking, and we're determined to take a fresh look at that. In fact, I took the thing that you showed during the debanking hearing. When I saw that, we're now taking that out of the manual. So I thank you for that.
Think about it like this. This is what the Biden administration did. They kept the banks away from crypto. And all that time, could you imagine the traction crypto would have gained at the banks over the last 4 years? Could you imagine where the banks would be right now if they were able to custody digital assets, have digital asset offerings for their customers? This is going to open up so many possibilities at the bank. Plus, think about debanking some of these people like Brad Garlinghouse and others that are involved in the crypto industry. They couldn't even get loans. They had to go somewhere else to get a loan because the banks looked at the crypto industry as a massive risk. And a lot of these banks still look at crypto as a huge risk. It's the same reason that some banks don't allow people to buy crypto on Uphold with their bank account. I know a lot of people that had to opt to use a credit card to buy crypto. Wall Street Journal this morning, the end of crypto's choke point. They know it's all over. Finally, we have a pro-crypto everything in the White House, in Congress, the SEC. And now we're going to see things change. And I think this is going to lead to not only institutional adoption, but mass adoption. Ever since Trump got elected president, I've had so many people outside of X and outside of YouTube ask me about crypto. Not just friends of mine, but customers of mine asking me, hey, what do you think about this cryptocurrency? Sometimes it's cryptocurrencies I've never even heard of. But it's because Trump gave crypto new life in the United States. All of a sudden, people that never even gave crypto a thought before now want to get invested in crypto all of a sudden. That's why I said this run is going to be so much different than previous runs for XRP. We're back on the exchanges. XRP is not a security, and we're going to have a lot of new money flowing into this space. And those ETFs, if JP Morgan is expecting $8 billion into an XRP ETF, I would expect double that. I think that was very conservative coming from Jamie Dimon. I expect at least double that to flow into XRP. And I would still say that's very conservative as well. A lot of these institutions have been eager to hold XRP for a long time. They know what it's built to do. They know how it can fix problems at the banks, how it can fix problems even in between companies that send money back and forth. You know, there's a lot of distributors overseas where you're still wiring money back and forth, waiting 2 and 3 days for the money to show up on the other end. XRP fixes that. You could easily make a phone call, talk to the person on the other end, and by the time you hang up with that person, that transaction already went through. That's how game-changing XRP actually is. But like I always tell you, You know, we're crypto investors and we're retail investors. When you're investing in something like XRP, you got to think like an institutional investor. You got to see the much bigger picture. See what XRP does in the real world, and that tells you where the price of XRP is going to end up eventually. I think once we finally break out, I think we're going to hit some price points that weren't on anybody's, watch list. Like, I see people calling for a $10 XRP and then a major pullback. Wait until we hit $20, $30, and we're still not having major pullbacks yet because we have institutional adoption happening and we still have big news happening. Wait until the Ripple versus SEC case comes to an end, and all of a sudden you're seeing those big announcements coming from the banks. These are all the things we have to look forward to as XRP investors. But until it happens, you got to stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to